Archaeologists in Peru say they've uncovered the largest burial site of child sacrifices in the world. The skeletal remains of at least 227 children have been found since 2016. The bodies were buried in the coastal desert north of Lima between 600 and 800 years ago during the Chimu period. The pre-Columbian society thrived between the years 900 and 1475 until it was conquered by the Inca Empire. The bodies were found facing the Pacific Ocean near a port that was favored at the time. The mass grave tells a grim tale. The lead excavator says the site is similar to nearby burial grounds where large groups of children were interred after they were marched to the coast and stabbed in the chest one by one. The victims are estimated to have been between 4 and 14 years old when they were killed, and some of the bodies still had traces of skin and hair. He also says the children were likely a sacrifice to the gods that controlled the El Niño phenomenon, in hopes of preventing devastating storms. The dig has uncovered 95 bodies this year alone, and excavators are not done with their search. Experts say there may be many more skeletons waiting to be discovered.
Is Moloch being summoned from ancient times into the modern world? Is such a thing even possible? The exhibition in progress at the Colosseum in Rome features a reconstruction of a statue of Moloch, a terrible ancient deity associated with mass child sacrifice, that greets visitors at the entrance of the historical site. Prior to the Phoenicians, the Hebrew Bible identifies Moloch as a god of the Canaanites and was associated with child sacrifice, either through fire or war. And God constantly forbade and warned the Jewish people of worshiping or sacrificing to Moloch. And when they fell into temptation, their society fell alongside their righteousness. Parco describes the Molech statue as, quote, a reconstruction of the terrible deity Moloch, and will be stationed at the entrance to the Colosseum to welcome visitors to the exhibition. The statue was positioned in a prime spot where everyone who entered had to pass it and be subject to the perception of its powerful presence. The statue of Moloch displayed by Parco's exhibition at the Colosseum is an identical replica of the statue of the same deity constructed for the 1914 silent Italian film Cabiria, which is set during the Second Punic War of the 3rd century BC, a war regarded by ancient historians as the greatest war in history, and the film was released just 2 months before the breakout of World War I, which is undoubtedly one of the greatest wars of modern times. The 1914 production portrays heinous religious rituals where children are offered up as sacrifices to a giant bronze Molech statue, depicted as a humanoid bull, where they are burned alive in a furnace compartment, built into the statue as a chest cavity. The screenwriter and primary creative force of the film was Gabriele D'Annunzio, an author and Italian elitist with a severe case of megalomania, who essentially invented fascism, predating Mussolini and Hitler, and introduced Italy to nihilism. He felt that representative democracy was too bourgeois for him, and it lacked a dramatic arc over the centuries. Essentially, he thought the average person was too dumb for democracy to work, and therefore, D'Annunzio called it a foolish endeavor. He felt the state should just get out of the way of all the brilliant people who lust after power, and that perpetual imperial expansion would help continue the beautiful and glorious wars around the world. D'Annunzio believed believed that a country was sustained by faith, not trust. Therefore, instead of trying to govern kindly or honestly, he thought a political leader should act like the head of a religion, not simply as a pope, but as a messiah to the governed. After serving in World War I, he resurrected the Roman straight-armed salute that would later be plagiarized by Hitler and the Nazis. Also in sync with fellow fascist Hitler, D'Annunzio was known to take a lot of cocaine. Just 9 days after the statue was erected, the Amazon Synod was opened at the Vatican Gardens, where the Pope and other top-ranking Catholic officials took part in a pagan ritual where shamans worshipped the fertility god Pachamama, represented by wooden statues of pregnant women. What is going on in Rome? Even though Molech feasts on the flesh of children in its fiery furnace, Molech still needs God's creation, the fruits of fertility, before consuming the children as sustenance to survive. And despite its relevance fading into history, the revival of Moloch, the fallen deity, only opens the door to a future of an unconscionable past.